Renowned South African writer Achmat Dangor has died. The 71-year-old was known for his literary work, which include Kafka's Curse and Bitter Fruit. He was also an activist championing the fight against HIV and AIDS. Dangor is one of the founding members of the Congress of South African Writers and was also involved in non-governmental organizations such as the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund. And for more on the story now, we're joined by a CEO of the Nelson Mandela Foundation, Sello Hatang. Sello, good evening, and thank you so much for your time tonight. Certainly, this is a huge loss for South Africa. This is really an important voice.
Bongiwe, this is a big loss for the country. So big a loss that it's not just the wordsmith who died, but someone who cared deeply about the struggles of this country, someone who cared deeply about how we should be better people. And his struggle against on the issues of HIV/AIDS that you alluded to, it went further in terms of equality, issues of equality. That each one of us must do a lot more to build a more equal society. And today it's a personal loss also, because Achmat was my mentor. Achmat saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. He tried his best to pass on the best that he could onto me so that I can be a better CEO. And I'm forever grateful. So we just buried him earlier on. And my message to Achmat is I hope you found peace from all the pains and aches, but that you should know that we will continue to try build a different country in your honor.
And Sello, you know your words when you say that he saw something in you that you did not even see in yourself. What are some of the lessons that you take from him? Because this is someone that mentored you even, at a time when you didn't even think you'd be holding this position you have now.
No, the biggest one is commitment. Achmat was one who followed through on his commitments. I reflected earlier on how on many occasions, despite his ill health, he will still show up at events that we would have invited him to. So one of those events was a dialogue that he had with Dr. Rampele and the former CEO, another former CEO, John Samuel. And when he came through, he complained about how he had a sore throat and all kinds of things. And so I said, "Why did you come? Surely you should have stayed. You should have stayed at home." He said, "No, because I don't want to see you fail. I don't want to let you down." The second biggest service in terms of also running around. I was with him in New York for the last 46664 concert. I remember how Achmat, instead of just sending me to go do this, he will say to me, "Let's go do it." And he will then run the streets of New York with me. He is to be also credited hugely for the launch of Mandela Day, because in 2009, he took on that baton. When Madiba said, "It's in your hands now," he then read that to mean that we should do something about Madiba's birthday. And the birth of Mandela Day is on the back of Achmat.
And let's talk about his relationship also as well with, with Dad. Obviously, this is someone that also worked closely with him.
I called Mrs. Machel earlier on hearing the news of his passing, because she also was very fond of Achmat. So I called her to tell her that this had happened, just to say that she is just as heartbroken as us. And Madiba and Achmat traveled a lot together. Many stories he came back with. And I think wherever Madiba is, I hope he's proud of the work that Achmat did, because there's a story that's told that Achmat told us of how Madiba got him to come back. As you might know, that he was also CEO of the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund. So he then went to work for the UN, and And Ahmad then, Madiba rather, called Ahmad to say, you need to come back. And seeing that Ahmad was taking too long, he then, Madiba took the effort to then call the UN and say, I borrowed you this man, I want him back home, send him back. And that's the kind of relationship they had.
And Sello, you know, this is someone that not only contributed on that one front of, you know, ensuring that the legacy of Dada is preserved, but he also played a critical role in the liberation struggle itself.
You know, just today I was talking to his brother, and there are many stories that are still to be written about how people like Ahmad contributed to the freedom of South Africa. And I think it pains me whenever one sees the amount of destruction that we make into this country instead of helping lift it. And I'm hoping in his honor we will be a more accountable nation, the nation that is corruption-free, xenophobia-free. It was Ahmad, in fact, in 2008, who led the foundation when there were those xenophobic attacks. And in fact, that's the image that you have now of him with a woman and a child. Because Ahmad went to the ground himself to go and help in terms of refugees and the plight of refugees. And the foundation contributed money because Ahmad then went and sourced that money so that we could make that contribution. And if we can be at least it's xenophobia-free, gender-based violence-free, a country that cares deeply about its people, we will make Ahmad proud.
And Sello, you know, you say, of course, that you were with the family earlier and he's now been buried. How are they holding up? Because certainly, you know, even from the statement they released earlier on in the day, they are really, really having a difficult time dealing with this.
And to the family, again, I know I conveyed our deepest condolences. I also stated that it's not only their loss. This is a loss for South Africa. South Africa lost one of its best in terms of leaders, and I'm hoping that we will honor him. And I told both his son and his daughter that we will be organizing a memorial in the next week, and I'm hoping that people in the arts, the authors who worked with Ahmad, people who were in the anti-apartheid struggle with him, will then have an opportunity.